Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Agree to Disagree by Adam's Apple Games.
Adam's Apple Games have come out with some really great strategy games over the years, and now they're branching off into party games with their first party game, Agree to Disagree. Now, in this particular game, what you're going to be doing is coming up with a topic within a particular category, and with that topic, you're trying to be divisive. You're trying to get some people in the group who will say, yeah, I like that particular thing that you named, and some other people that are going to be saying, nah, I don't know if I like that. I think I might dislike that. But you don't know anybody's opinion on anything because you're going to have these little devices, which are really unique in this game, that are going to conceal whether somebody likes or dislikes the said topic. And you're trying to find somebody who thinks differently than you. This is a game that's going to create a lot of banter, a lot of humorous moments throughout it, just like great party games do. And it works great with gamers and non-gamers, kind of already giving you a little bit of our opinions on this one. But let me show you exactly how it works down below, and then we'll come back and share those thoughts on it from a gamer and non-gamer perspective. All right, I have Agree to Disagree on the table from Adam's Apple Games, and let me show you how this party game is going to work. What you have in the game, you are going to have cards. You will have your 1 value cards and your 2 value cards, and on the back side of these cards, you are going to see different categories, and you will make sure to have your cards separated in stacks, and at the beginning of each player's turn, you will have 1 card from each stack flipped over so that you can see 6 different category topics. You also have some player chips that each player will receive, and then also each player will receive one of these devices, and I have 2 of them out here to show you that they are different colors, but functionally they are exactly the same. The color does not change anything about what these do. And what are going to be on these player devices are going to be on the back side. You're going to see some thumbs up on them, but on the back side of it, you will see a heart and then a broken heart. And you're going to use this to secretly indicate whether you like or dislike said topic. And if you like something, then you will make sure that you have your full heart pointing away from you towards all the other players. And if you dislike whatever said topic is, you will make sure to have your broken heart facing all the other players. But other players will not know whether you like or dislike said topic because it's concealed underneath the bottom of your device. And I'll show you how this works here in just a minute. But as I already mentioned, a round is going to begin with the first player having 2 cards shown to them, and the player to their left will choose one of the 6 options that you can see. And so, for instance, maybe the player to my left selects college or university. And then looking at this card right here, this is another aid, a player aid of some sorts. You are going to want to try and figure out something that fits into this topic that will be divisive to the other players and cause some players to like said topic or some players to dislike said topic. You don't want to be polarizing, in other words. And so saying, if we're going off of college or university, saying the University of Texas, for instance, that would not be a good choice because everybody dislikes Texas, right? Boomer sooner. So yeah, I probably wouldn't go with that. If someone picked college or university for me, I might say something like Notre Dame, considering that that's a popular school that seems to have a lot of fans all over the planet, but there are very many people who don't like Notre Dame as well. And so again, all players will indicate using their devices, secretly pointing away from them whether they dislike it or like it. And you will point yours out like this, and everybody else is doing the same thing with their devices. And then, starting with the player who picked the college or university, you would choose one of the other players that you think might have said the opposite of whatever you said. And so I might pick the player sitting across from me, and then I will take their device, keeping the orientation the same way, and my orientation the same way, and insert the 2 devices together. And if they don't match, then that means we must have said the same thing, which is not good because I am wanting to match up with someone who is differing opinion than I am. And so when they don't connect, that's not good for you. Had they connected, they would go all the way in like this, and then that would mean that one of us liked it and one of us disliked it. We don't reveal whether we liked it or disliked it. We keep our answers hidden because the round continues going around clockwise, each person picking someone to put their device into the other person's device to see if they match or if they don't match. And again, you are wanting to not match on this one. You want one person to like it and the other person not like it. If you found somebody who did not agree with your liking, whether that's like or dislike, then you are going to gain 2 points in this game. And the person who came up with the topic, not the category, but the topic within the category. So for instance, if I said Notre Dame, if there were connections made out there, I will gain 1 point for every connection that is made because I came up with a very divisive topic within the category. You will go all the way around until there are 2 people left. And once there are 2 people left, each person in the circle will take their player chip and bet whether they think those 2 players are going to disagree, meaning that their devices will go all the way in together because one person liked it and one person didn't like it. Or if you think that they will agree, either both liking it or both disliking it. You will make this bet, and if you are correct, then you will get more points. If you are incorrect, then you will not get those points. And that's the gist of the game. You will go around the circle twice with each person being the person who gets to pick the topic given the 6 categories. And whoever has the most points at the end is going to be the winner. Now, there are special rules for how to play this game in a 2-player and 3-player mode. In a 2-player or 3-player mode, it's pretty much the same. You are going to make sure that you have a certain number of devices out here. And basically what you are trying to do is you're trying to make connections. Again, that meaning that one device says agree and one device says disagree. And you are trying to make connections up to 4 consecutive times. So you want to try and make connections 4 times. So not that. You would want it to be like that. And if you are able to do that 4 times in a row within 8 chances, then you are going to be victorious. And so that's the gist of the game. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on agree to disagree from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, first thing I want to ask you about with this particular game is your thoughts on the little devices inside the game that are able to conceal whether you like this said topic or you dislike it, and how you connect them together.
I thought it was really unique because they could have easily just had cards
right.
that you just flip over,
yeah.
But that makes it so much more fun that you're connecting and how they work. I think all of us were like, I don't understand this, and then you start playing it, and it's pretty cool.
It does take having to play the game a round or two to really get the idea of what's the point of having these gizmos.
Yeah.
And yet after you get into it, you start to realize, okay, yeah, it's very important. It's not just a gimmick because it conceals what I think and what you think.
Yeah.
But yet we can still figure out whether we connect or don't connect, but nobody else knows what we're thinking on it. So it really works well, and I'm glad that they came up with this idea of these little connector devices because it works and it works well. So it's quite odd as you're kind of manipulating and working with it at first, but then once you understand the concept of the game, it works well. So let's talk about the actual gameplay experience. You know, we really enjoy party games here on Love to Hate, just simply for the fact that those seem to be the kind of game that always works well with gamers and non-gamers.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say every party game works well, because there are some that just don't work great. But party games are going to tend to do well when you're playing with gamers and non-gamers. So let's talk about this particular one. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. We played with our best friends, and so I think that we know them extremely well, and so I don't think we were always very surprised by the answers. I think this would be a great game for mixed groups where you might not know people, or where you're even like getting to know people, maybe like even like a casual work like setting.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
To kind of see, oh, well, me and you agree on this. When you're playing with your best friends that you've known for 12 years of your life that you're like, I know exactly how you feel about these. Some were surprising, but I think that this game would be really beneficial to play with a mixed group.
Yeah, so when I was playing this game, kind of to that, what Sam's talking about there, in my head, the thing that I was thinking was, this would be a fantastic game if I was in college still.
Yes.
And I was playing it with my college buddies who I've only known for maybe a year or two and didn't know anything about them prior to college and what they really enjoy and what they really are their likes and dislikes. But I know them a little bit, and and so that
I think like I'm a nurse. We have a lot of new nurses right now.
Yeah.
I think something where you're getting to know your coworkers. This would be something that would be great for that.
Right. Yeah. And to that, I think the fun thing with this particular game is discovering that not everybody thinks like how I think.
Yeah.
And it's incredulous for somebody to like the thing that I clearly dislike or vice versa. Like, how on earth can you not like fill in the blank?
Yeah.
That's the fun part with this particular game, that it always throws people for a loop whenever somebody doesn't like apple pie. And you're like, well, how can you not like apple pie? Like, that's just crazy. And to have that sort of unfold throughout the round, because the other thing with this game too is that a round, this might sound bad, but a round kind of progresses slowly in the sense like I connect with Sam, and so I know we are on different wavelengths, and that's good because we want to be, but nobody else knows that, and then somebody's trying to connect with somebody else, and you start to get little bits of info as the game unfolds, and that's just a cool experience with this one. So, all right, let's get to pros and cons for Agree to Disagree. Sam, what were the things for you that really stood out in a good way with this one?
I mean, the little device is in a way it's gimmicky just because it draws you to the game. If it was just a card, you'd still play the exact same game, but it would not be nearly as fun.
Yeah.
I think that it makes it very interesting and unique. So I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, definitely the device thing is really cool. It's something that can bring people to it because it has a little bit of table presence, seeing people kind of move these little things around that look like fidget spinners or whatever, that can draw people in. And then once they see the gameplay, then they're hooked, right? So I like the gimmicky device thing too. What else stood out to you in a good way with this one?
I thought the cards were great. It was stuff that every once in a while we'd have to pass on one that was just a little too obscure for us, but for the most part we could all
and you have 6 options, right? If the person next to you picks something that you're just like, I don't know that I can name anything in that, which that's pretty rare with this one. The topics, like Sam said, are usually pretty good. Then people are going to, play with people that are going to give you some grace and say, well, if you don't know anything about that said thing, I'm going to pick this.
Play with that.
Right. Now, to that, I will say, and the box does say ages 8 and up. I did play this game with some kids from our church. I was on a mission trip, and they were all 11, 12 years old, and so they're older than that 8 age range, and they all got the concept of the game and had a great time with it. There were some categories on it that weren't necessarily adult in any way. They were just things that they didn't really have a conceptualization of.
Yeah.
And
taxes.
So, right, well, not anything like that, but
kind of
just
that idea, an adult idea.
Right. That's something that only, older people would really kind of understand. Yeah. So while it does say ages 8 and up, I don't know that all the categories would work for 8-year-olds, but that's okay. For me, some of the other things that I really enjoy about the particular game is there's always an opportunity after a round is over to kind of get that banter going and talking with people. How could you think that? And there's a lot of discussion, a lot of fun with that. And that's always a great thing to have when you're talking party games. So this game helps provide that. So anything that doesn't work so great for you with this one?
I think how the round works was a little confusing. I'm glad we had you there to kind of facilitate it. I could see how if you're just with a group and nobody's ever played it before, that part could be a little bit confusing because it's not just a matter of, okay, everyone flip, everyone see who matches with who. You kind of have to go step by step. And if I've already matched with this person, then me and them don't go again. And so it's just, does that make sense? Like,
no, it does, because even as you're talking about the game, when you're saying, well, I wanted to connect with somebody, what we mean by that is the devices worked by connecting and going all the way in. And what that means is that we think differently. So when you think they connected, the natural inclination is that we said the same thing. We agree. No, that's not what we mean. And that's not what you want in this game. You want to disagree with this game. And so it just sort of is kind of reverse thinking a little bit, which is going to throw people for a loop. And you're really going to have to explain that well to make sure everybody's on the same page. You want to find somebody different.
You kind of want a facilitator. Somebody that just might know the game a little bit better.
For sure. And also, kind of going a step further with that too, is that on the last round, if you watch the rules portion of the video, on the last grouping of people, everybody's using their tokens to bet on whether they think they're going to agree or disagree. And again, it's the same idea. Disagree would mean they connect. Agree would mean they don't connect. And you just, again, you want to make sure everybody understands what you mean when you say agree or disagree. So that's the name, agree to disagree. All right, let's get to our scores for agree to disagree. And I think it needs to be said that we do typically, historically, grade our party games on a different scoring scale than we do all other games. And for good reason. They're a different breed of game, and they need to be graded as such. I'm going to start first on this one. I really enjoyed this one. I enjoy the devices. It's unique. It's fresh. Gives a different kind of appeal to getting people to play party games, and it provides a lot of banter, like I've said several times. So for that, I'm going to give this game an 8. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was solid experience. I'm going to want to get it out on the table again, bring it to holiday events with family and that sort of thing. It's a really good game. I liked it. What'd you think?
I was going to say a 7.8.
7.8. Okay, how come?
I mean, pretty much for the same reasons. I think a lot of times you kind of see the same thing over and over with party games. I think this brings something a little bit different.
Right.
Still easy for people to understand and easy for a lot of people to play, but it's different than what you typically see with a party game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there you have it. That's our thoughts on agree to disagree from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this particular game.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
We are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.